In today's report, I do my job at GameStop. Tax season's in. As I slowly typed in the report, the news came in. Japan censorship with credit cards getting worse. As I typed in the report, things were outrageous. Banks were now closing down. Stores were shutting down. And Visa reputation is still a piece of shit gutter hellscape of shit. That means you, Mr. CEO. Welcome today. We're talking about the mystery of what the fuck is going on in Japan still. Anyway, so last time we talked about some of the credit card problems going on out there in the Ethernets of Japan. If you get a hit, you get your Visa gone. And now the banks are joining in. Steam games that get hit as adults are now being targeted. What's this mean for you and for your game? Well, this means if you get targeted, this means you're not getting paid. Japanese banks are refusing to accept money from Steam from any games that are being targeted. That's, a little, how should we say, insane? Absolutely absurd. Ludicrous. Bogus. So now we don't only have Visa being a problem, we have actual little Japanese banks being a problem. And get this is getting so concerning now, even Nintendo is actually bending the knee. But are they bending the knee because someone told them? Or are they bending the knee because they're prepping to not want to deal with it? So now, if you are a common buyer of Japanese digital merchandise on the eShop, bad news for you. They're not accepting pretty much every payment under the sun, including PayPal. Yeah, so that means points, or your only means to basically buy your Japanese eShop goods. And this is always woomery triggering the classic scalpers, of course. Scalpers are like, oh, I'm gonna buy all these point cards and try to sell them for more so I can make a profit. Now look, I might work at GameStop, but fuck, what a scum of the earth. I mean, at least we're usually slightly cheaper than what eBay is on ours. I mean, I know our Q&A people are a little shitty on telling about those fake copies. I'm pretty good about it. But I know some of the people we hire ain't necessarily the best. But I'll gladly refund you. Anyway. So, Nintendo is accepting some of this shit. Now again, we don't know if Nintendo has always had these problems at them and they're just doing it to avoid it, or if they're preemptively doing it to avoid it. Now, we do know Nintendo has several risque games on its eShop. Now, recently, as we talked about with an incident of games that are getting denied now, such as the Hyper Neptunia Collection being denied on the Switch in America, this raises interesting implications that Nintendo may have always been dealing with this problem, and it just hasn't been verbal like a lot of the other companies being affected is. If this is the case, this could explain what Nintendo has been doing in this sense. So if this is all speculatory at this point here, but if true, this can mean Nintendo will definitely likely go into a large-scale censorship in the future of titles, if this is the case. So, hence, this is danger stranger territory here. And if Nintendo is legit being threatened in this way, that means there could be other issues around the corner. But there's also a strange, interesting, bright-colored rainbow, too. For Sony, that is. So, for those who remember, I certainly do. Oh, that dagger on my back. Ugh. Anyway, as many people remember, Sony betrayed us weebs and went to California and got all tingly-lingy all with the Californians. Well, Sony's base operations is in California because of all that. Now, recently Sony has been doing a cleansing, and they got a new CEO, Jim Way's out, and all that shit. The new people have the potential of we stealing Sony back into the limelight of the holy grace of weebs. And because of the new location, if the new CEO, who, as far as we know, is not a dribble-drobble Californian, may potentially be capable of taking advantage of that. If stealing back into the direction of weebs and being located in California, Sony could be in a position to not have to give a fuck about this. And that would be good. For Sony, of course. Now, whether that happens, I don't know. Just an interesting, speculative idea. It would be in their favor to accept the weebs. After all, the PS5 is doing dog shit in most of the gaming community's eyes. Where's the fucking games? You saying there's rumors about a PS6 and there's still no really good fucking games? Now, I'll be fair, that's subjective to me. That's not to say there aren't any exclusives, but I do feel there was a very lacking of interesting exclusives. Subjective. Anyway, back to the main subject. Banks, credit cards, and especially Visa, you're all being cancerous and fucking anti-consumer. This is ridiculous. And that's not even bringing up the hypocrisy. Why is OnlyFans fine? OnlyFans is a little pornography, basically. Like, you telling me OnlyFans is fine, but, you know, fantasy stories of subjective content is an issue? I mean, what the fuck? Seriously. Can someone explain that? And of course, that's not getting into other controversies of not following up on criminal activities. I'm not going to get into that subject. I'll leave the exports in that kind of field. But, yeah, needless to say, there's been a few scandalous claims that came out of not properly addressing illegal activities. But oh my goodness, Japanese anime and manga. Oh, somebody think of the children. What are we going to do with these companies? And sadly, Japanese legal politicians are slowly doing not much about this yet. A few are, of course, using it as a opportunity to get photos, of course, and hopefully a few are trying to actually do something, but like politicians normally, they're slow, and they'll gladly super slow. Will Japan actually get anything done against this? Honestly, I hope so. I mean, seriously, this sounds like the easiest case of fucking against the consumer I've ever heard in my life. It's ridiculous. How this is taking so long is ridiculous. I mean, honestly, you know, a smart person with a lot of money would actually possibly make their own new card and be all accepting of all this stuff and just zoom in and become all the everyday person's credit card or something. Of course, it's not easy doing something like that these days because, you know, obviously competition doesn't want new competition. So they'll gladly give you as much trouble to do that, sadly. So what is the answer to all this? Sadly, I'm just a nerd that works at GameStop. I don't actually have a good answer, but hopefully Japanese lawmakers are able to do something Because honestly, this is anti-consumer. Honestly, my opinion's fucking outright illegal. The only thing any of these companies should have any right to say about your money is if you're doing something illegal. And let me put it simply, playing a video game is not illegal. Whacking off in your own time, in your house, in your privacy, is your own opinion. If you want to play something that's lewdly funny, that's your own business. If you want to read something that's either risque or downright hentai, that's your business. As an adult, that's your own business and not theirs. I mean, what's next? They're gonna want to know what we need medicine for and then try to control that? Oh, so you have a migraine medicine? We can't have that. We're gonna have to deny your credits. I mean, seriously, like, you give it one step to control shit like this, and just start fucking wanting to choose other shit to control. It's not their business what you want to buy with your money, whether it's for entertainment or your personal, private time. You know, whatever fucking particular reason it is. It's not their business. It's not a crime. It's not illegal. It's such a confusing fucking mess. I'm just a GameStop employee, but this should be pretty simple common sense, right? Whatever. But sadly, because of these, this is becoming a more concerning thing. Now, Sony, you know, probably doesn't have too much concern currently right now, because, you know, they've been very censorship over the last several years, so they probably don't have too many immediate threats right now if Nintendo is being pressured by any particular companies about this shit. So, that'll be interesting to see. And again, because Sony's located in California and they're having different leadership changes, this could actually work out as a favor to them if they were to welcome weebs back. Which, you know, with the whole Neptunia thing, seems to be either maybe slightly possible, or they just not worried about whatever the fuck Nintendo rejected it for. Anywho, I gotta finish these taxes. But the situation is seeming dire. Hopefully, somebody will get something done. I wish it was really, really simple, just change a different processor, but everyone just seems to be wanting to gang up on everything. PayPal's been doing this, Visa's doing this, now the little banks are doing this. Sounds like a conspiracy to me. But I only sell bombs, lamp oil, rope, and GameStop Pro memberships. I'm not smart enough for this. I'll admit that. I'll admit that. Who hit that? Anyway. I wish I had the answer. I really do. But with that, we'll have to leave our concerns at the table. But I wish to say one thing to the CEO of Visa. You're scum. You're shit. You're potentially racist. And you're a hateful motherfucker. That's what I have to say about you and your reputation. I hope your reputation goes down the gutter and that you become known as the greatest piece of shit ever known to human money related work, I could say. Anyway, you're the scum of life, and I hope you have bad luck for the rest of your life unless you change and learn a lesson. Otherwise, I don't give a crap. You suck, and GameStop's better than you, and that should be the worst insult humanly possible. I sell bombs, rope, and lamp oil. Until next time, get pro membership. Take it easy. Wait a minute. Wait!